Yeah, and it's interesting, right? And you talked about IBM and all the acquisitions and piecing these things together, which I think is going to be a big play long term. And I think you just said a couple of things that struck a chord with me on when we talk about FinOps. It seems like immediately the conversation goes to cloud cost management, right? And it's hey, what is my spend from Azure? What is my spend from AWS? What does this look like? And the client sets that we're focused on and calling on are almost all going to be hybrid for the rest of existence, right? They're going to have their on-prem resources, they're going to have their cloud resources, and we're watching the FinOps practice start to mature in the cloud, but ignoring the on-prem piece.
Yep.
And that's where we see a huge play to be able to partner with IBM to leverage what IBM's doing in the Kubernetes space and the cloud space, and with the different products, marry that with what we're doing on prem, and then we're building out what things look like on prem from a financial standpoint to match the FinOps standards in the cloud, so that people can really make that end to end decision. And I think we're currently working with Apptio Cloudability to integrate into what we're doing from Visual One, so we can really paint that end to end picture. We were on a call yesterday with a client that with their FinOps team, and they're like, "Look, from a FinOps standpoint, we're still pretty elementary, but here's what we're doing from a cloud standpoint." And we kept bringing up, "What do you think about on prem?" And they're like, "We don't." Right? From a FinOps standpoint, we don't. And,
Yep.
and we started going through the art of the possible. What if you could,
Yep.
deploy these same principles to your on-prem environment and really have that true end-to-end? And there was some real excitement there. Um, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean it's there is a ton of excitement around as an example, Cloudability is going to actually start being able to pull on-prem metrics into Cloudy, right? And the name of the tool is Apptio Cloudability, IBM Cloudability, right? You think it's just about the cloud, but we realize where the market is going, and that's where FinOps is going, right? Like there's a great slide that I use in my presentation, Phil, that comes from FinOps.org that basically lays out the whole entire FinOps framework, right, with the capabilities and such. And at the top, you see that it's FinOps, but it's got business outcomes and technology outcomes, and they start to talk about the data center and SaaS and containers. There is so much complexity out there, and you nailed it, man. You talked to a team yesterday that only cares about FinOps, because I bet you they've got an on-prem team, and that on-prem team is only focused on FinOps, or only focused on their VMs and their data centers. Well, you got containers that are going across both your on-prem world and your public cloud world, right? The ability to bring all of that data together, and that's what IBM will do, whether it's with Cloudy, Turbo, and KubeCost, or some combination of the three, so that now, or as an organization, and let's use the container world as a perfect example, right? Because how many cloud teams own their containers and they're only focused on that, but yet when they try to pull all of those metrics together, there's not a mechanism to do that internally. So how do you understand how much value your container environment is actually bringing to your organization? And so a lot of
Yeah.
organizations can't do that, right? They don't have the visibility into the cost, and that's what KubeCost will ultimately bring. But it's all about trying to get the positive business outcomes that these organizations are trying to get to, whatever they may be.